What if you could become a better person? Not by working harder, but by taking one doable step a day. And not because you're a bad person now, but because there's something inside you that's ready for more. How to Be a Better Person walks you through 1 year of those tiny steps. 365 small but mighty tools you can use in the next 24 hours to make a difference in yourself and the world. My mission? To help you live your best life. Hi, and welcome to How to Be a Better Person. I'm Kate, your host and tour guide through the land of personal development. Today's Tuesday, so I'm sharing a tip that will help you be a better person in your work life. And that tip is to do some strategic thinking about when you do your best work. Everyone's got a time of day when they're most likely to be operating at full capacity. I like to call that time of day your power hour. It's kind of like you get to be a superhero for only 1 hour a day. What hour would you choose to don your cape? Once you know when your power hour is, you can use that information to start setting up your schedule to make sure that you can be at your desk or in your studio or wherever you do your work during that hour and not stranded in a meeting or biding your time in a waiting room. There are two main considerations to think about when you're figuring out what your power hour is. First, you've got to think about how you, personally, are wired. And second, you've got to think about the realities of your life. Let's talk through those a little bit. To figure out when you are naturally at your cognitive and energetic best, you've got to do a little objective thinking and observing of yourself. We've all got an inherent biorhythm that dictates when we're at our most energetic. That's what people mean when they say they're a morning person or a night owl. Think about the past week. When did you get the most work done? Does that answer align with other weeks if you think about it? Are you a first thing in the morning person or a mid-morning person? Or maybe you come to life later in the day, even at night. There's no right or wrong answer here. Just think about what specific time of day you are naturally most excited about getting good work done. That is your power hour. But don't stop there. Pick 2 or even 3 times of day when you're most in the flow. Because in the second step, your first choice might get knocked out of contention. Once you know when you naturally shine, the second thing you have to consider is your life. We all have unique circumstances that affect when we can be productive. You might be an early morning person, for example, but you've got young kids, so at 6:30, when you can really bust through the cognitive tasks, you're packing lunches and shepherding kids through the getting dressed process. In that case, you'll have to pick your second most productive time that also happens to coincide with when the kids are out of the house. Or maybe you really come to life after you've had your morning beverage and checked your email, but you've got a mid-morning meeting that you can't get out of. Take a look at your calendar for the last month and take note of regularly scheduled things. Do any of them conflict with one of your power hours? Unless you can develop a workaround for that particular time, maybe by hiring a babysitter or moving that regular meeting, move on to your number 2 power hour until you find a spot that is typically free and you are typically most capable of kicking out the jams. And then take this final, crucial step and schedule in your power hour on your calendar. That way, you'll remember not to put something else in that slot, and you'll have time set aside to actually do the most important parts of your work while you're in the best state of mind to do a great job. I'd love to know what your power hour is. Tweet me at Kate Han and use the hashtag BetterPersonPod, or use the Contact Kate button at beabetterpersonpodcast.com. By the way, my power hour is 10 a.m. I'm the person who really needs to have a cup of tea and decompress with a little quiet time after everyone has left the house before I'm ready to do my heavy lifting. In fact, I'm writing up my notes for this episode at 10:30. Coincidence? I think not. Talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for listening to How to Be a Better Person. If you liked what you heard, share it with someone you think would like it too. Your voice matters. Come sign up for the weekly newsletter that includes a link to every episode from the previous week so you can catch up on anything you missed. You can do that at beabetterpersonpodcast.com. I also love to hear from listeners. Seriously, I love it. Send me an email by clicking on the Contact Kate button at beabetterpersonpodcast.com, or you can tweet me at Kate Han, Katehan, or find me on Instagram at Kate Hanley Author. I look forward to connecting with you.